Hey everyone, what is going on? So I have another video for you today, and this is going to be in the Mountain Cup. These are battles that I did during Go Battle Day. And yeah, I did really well with this team. It's going to be Shadow Abomasnow with Firefighting Patron and Mikaga with Incinerate. So yeah, really strong team. Overall, just really powerful. Obviously, you want to win the lead, or at least have a neutral lead, or something, but you don't want to have something where you hard lose the lead, like an Escavalier in the lead. So it could be pretty tricky, but it worked out really well for me. I climbed into like expert, I didn't reach expert, but I came close to it, like in the 2700s with this team. So pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right into the battles and see what we got going on for us. I do see this Marshtomp coming out. Obviously the fire, or the two Pokemon in the back do not like the Mud Boys or Marshtomp at all, or like Lapras, anything like that. That's why Abomasnow does well against them. Out comes this Lucario. So I am a rock type in addition to a fire type, so I am weak. So I do go ahead and shield that. Did I have to shield that? Maybe not. I'm going to go ahead and go for the farm down. That's fine. I guess I did have to shield that. So that's going to KO me. I'm going to be able to farm down the Lucario. Very nice. So out comes the Marshtomp. Do I survive an attack? I know they have Surf. I know they have Mud Bomb. So do I survive it? I do survive it, and I take that win. And that is going to be a good game. Very well played to my opponent. Yeah, I'm going to be able to take that one. Very nice indeed. See, if you're looking for like a fast move pressure team, I think this is a good team. You could use Shadow Mawile instead of Hippowdon. I do change it to Mawile at some point. Anyway, we see me hard lose the lead, right? And my opponent is going to bring in the Torterra. I realize I cannot make it to Earth Power, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Weather Ball. Maybe my opponent will want to shield it. They do not want to shield it. So this is going to be pretty tough, because when I bring in my Shadow Abomasnow, my opponent is going to bring in, you know what, right? The Mawile. So I'm going to be locked in here for a little bit. So not great for me. My opponent is going to go ahead and go for the Sand Tomb. As I said, you do want to win switch, and my opponent is waiting out the switch time, it looks like, which is good because I could bring in my Mikaga a little bit faster, but unfortunately my opponent farms down. It all depends. Does my opponent have something weak to fire in the back? If they do, it's looking good for me. If they have like a water type or a mud boy, it's not good. Oh my gosh, it's an Abomasnow. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and throw the rock tomb. I know it's going to get the shield, but I do want to debuff my opponent because I am taking neutral damage from these rock attacks, right? Or not rock attacks, these Razor Leaf attacks. So I'm going to go ahead and shield this one up. And despite losing the lead, I'm still going to be able to take this one. I just need one more Incinerate. Oh, my opponent gets an attack through, but Power Up Punch is a weak move. I'm going to be able to live it, and it is a Power Up Punch, and I do live it, and that's going to be a good game, very well played to my opponent. So a lot of Pokemon I've noticed are weak to fire, which is good for this team. For example, Frostlass is weak to fire. That's kind of like a neutral. I could win that if I shield once, but I'm going to go ahead and lure out a water type, and we do see a water type. It's going to be Lapras. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball right now before my opponent can get off his Surf. Super effective damage, and that was a CMP tie. I can't win this matchup. My opponent could just shield and like win it, so I'm gonna go ahead and just let it go. But they actually undercharge, which I was shocked, because that allows me to get to another Weather Ball because of that undercharge. So now I'm gonna force a shield from my opponent or a KO, and they actually give me switch, which is huge for me because out comes a Waterfall. This is a Waterfall Wall Ring, so I'm going to be able to just take this matchup now. My opponent is going to go ahead and throw an attack. I do not want to shield it. It's an Icicle Spear, but I do survive it. And out comes Frostlass. I'm going to go ahead and throw this Weather Ball right now just to get some chip damage, or possibly pick up a shield and then switch. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Incinerate Mikaga now. My opponent is going to go ahead and throw this attack. It's going to be an Avalanche. That's fine. Not really a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and throw this Rock Tomb. It will either KO or debuff my opponent, and my opponent will let it go. And out comes a Waterfall Wall Rain, but I'm going to be able to Incinerate down. So my opponent, yeah, I mean, they definitely made a mistake by undercharging that, but I understand where they were coming from, but it ended up working out in my favor. Good game. Moving on, Abomasnow into Lapras. Definitely a good lead. Usually Lapras in this meta have Water Gun. My opponent does switch out into this Razor Leaf user. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Hippowdon. Now, as you can see, my opponent does make it to an attack. I should have brought in Mikaga against this. I don't think I would have had the shield if I brought in Mikaga. So definitely an error on my end, but it's all good. I still win that matchup. Lapras is coming in. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball right now. Super effective damage. Might as well get some damage onto this Lapras. And I think my opponent's deliberately waiting, I think. I don't think they lag, but because they're deliberately waiting, that allows me to get to another Weather Ball, which is actually going to KO, and now in comes Macago. Yeah, I think they deliberately waited. I don't think they lagged or anything. I could be wrong, but, I mean, they're here now, so I'm not really sure. But either way, it's Macago versus Macago. I'm going to go ahead and take this. I know it's going to do a good amount of damage. Rock Tomb, yep. I'm going to go ahead and throw my attack right now, my Rock Tomb. And my opponent will go ahead and shield that one up. Trying to get to one more. My opponent will be able to win the race there. I do go ahead and shield this one. Yeah, obviously that's going to be a Rock Tomb. But I'm going to go ahead and throw a Rock Tomb of my own. It's just Rock Tomb back and forth. Will my opponent decide to shield this? My opponent will decide to shield it. I'm trying to get to one more. My opponent will win the race, but I actually make an attempted catch onto a Abomasnow. Unfortunately, I'm not successful, and my opponent probably anticipates the catch. So they're going to go ahead and throw the Rock Tomb. It doesn't KO because the Macago is debuffed, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this Weather Ball. And unfortunately, my opponent, played really well. My opponent will be able to get off this Rock Tomb, and that is going to be able to KO me. So good game. We'll play to my opponent not throwing there, able to take that win there. So good game. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. Abomasnow into Runerikus. Good matchup for me. My opponent is weak to Razor Leaf. Going to go ahead and switch into this Lucario. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Hippowdon. Now, I know I mean, Shadow Ball could be a thing, close combat. It is a Shadow Ball, so I'm going to go ahead and shield that. That would, KO me. So I'm going to go ahead and shield the phone down. Very nice indeed. I do take switch. Out comes Empoleon. I'm going to go ahead and just go for the Earth Power. I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. If I went for Weather Ball, I wouldn't be able to make it to an Earth Power anyway. My opponent shields, which is expected, but might as well go for it. Okay, very nice. Obviously, I can't bring in Macago, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Razor Leaf Abomasnow. My opponent does get off an attack. Drill Peck will all but KO me, right? So I'm going to go ahead and shield it. And I'm going to go for the Razor Leaf Farm Down, and I do get it. You'll have to see it. So Runerikus is coming out. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball. My opponent does have to shield this because this will get that very low, right? So and then the Razor Leafs would finish it off. My opponent is going to go ahead and get off an attack. I was actually going to attempt to catch it there, but I think I miscounted by one. But regardless, it's okay because I'm still going to be able to win this one because Macago does survive a Shadow Ball or a Stand Tomb, and my opponent just concedes there. Good game. Well played to my opponent. Going to go ahead and move into the next one. Shadow Abomasnow into Empoleon. Okay, so I'm doing neutral damage with the Razor Leaves. I do, generally speaking, have to shield one because the Drill Peck, as we know, will over KO me, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and shield this one up. So I'm going to be able to win this matchup. But my opponent, with the switch in the Diggersby, I saw the Diggersby come out, and I'm going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball, which is going to do some nice super effective damage. I do switch out into my Hippowdon. I'm going to be able to survive an Earthquake for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one go. And it is Earthquake. And then I'm going to try and get to an Earth Power. And I do successfully get to this Earth Power. You'll love to see it. And this Earth Power is going to pick up the shield. Okay. I think, yeah, I do let this one go because my opponent is ahead of on energy. And they would, if I was a Fire Punch, they would be able to get to another. They had multiple Fire Punches, right? So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Shadow Abomasnow right now. I'm going to go ahead and shield this one up. It's Fire Punch, as we know. I think I try to catch. No, I don't try to catch. Okay, so my opponent does throw an attack. So Fire Punch is going to be enough to KO me, and I bring in Macago. Out comes this. Oh, this is Ember. That's right. I switch it to Ember, actually. So that's right. I do switch it to Ember. So I do Ember down. I wanted to try Ember. So out comes Mawile. So Mawile is going to go ahead and go down to this Overheat right now. And I'm going to be able to take this win. Tough game. Good plays by my opponent, but I'm going to still be able to take that one. Let's move on. I think I still have Ember on the Macago, but it's going to be a Lapras in the lead. You absolutely love to see it. Of course, Water Gun. Usually it is Water Gun, as I mentioned earlier, but yeah, I mean, pretty good for me. My opponent is going to be able to throw an attack. I know they do not have enough for Skull Bash right now, so it's going to be a Surf. I guess maybe it could be an Ice Beam, but usually you don't see Ice Beam in this meta. So outcome, yeah, so I switch out. It's going to be Wish Cash in the back. My opponent is charging up energy. Good play, but my opponent does have to throw a Blizzard if they want to KO me. And they're not going to throw it, so maybe they want to get more farm, but that will allow me to get off this Earth Power. They know what I have in the back, so I don't anticipate a shield, but my opponent actually does shield it. And my opponent is going to go ahead and throw. It's definitely going to be another Mud Bomb, that's fine. And there we go. It doesn't KO me, one more Mud Shot will, but I'm going to be able to bring in my Abomasnow. Do I shield this one? I do not shield it because I know it's a Mud Bomb. I live it. And look how much damage I do. I actually KO it because I'm doing double super effective damage. And the Mawile comes in, and I know this is going to be a good game because I do throw the Energy Ball. I go down totally fine. I bring in my Ember Makago, and my opponent concedes. I still have 2 shields. Good game. Well played to my opponent. Let's go ahead and move on to the next battle. Magma Man. I battled with him. Did I battle him a couple times? Maybe. Tough lead for me. I do have to go ahead and switch. I do have 2 answers to it, but like still tough. Out comes a Water Gun Lapras. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Weather Ball right now. So Weather Ball is going to be doing some nice super effective damage. If my opponent goes for the farm down, I'll be able to get to another one, but they do not. I do decide to shield it just so I can get off another Weather Ball to either take Switch or get a shield from my opponent. So I do anticipate the shield. I mean, they have to shield. And they do shield, yep, unfortunately. I would have liked them not to shield, but of course they're going to. So now I'm going to bring in my Abomasnow, but I am waiting out the switch timer so I can switch into my Makago as soon as possible. An attack is coming in. It's definitely going to be a Surf. Oh, no, it's an Ice Beam. That's right, I'm hit with an Ice Beam. So I did say you usually don't see Ice Beam, but unfortunately my opponent is rocking Ice Beam, and that's going to be a loss for me. So good game, Magma Man. And well played. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. Ooh, we have a Fire... Well, I'm assuming it's Fire Fang, right? That's what I was assuming when I saw the Pokemon, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out, and it is Fire Fang. So my opponent is staying in. My opponent does go ahead and... Ooh, switch. Okay. Okay, they actually switch into Abomasnow. So Abomasnow is obviously double weak to Fire Fang, but I'm also weak to Razor Leaf, so they waited to get damage on me and then switched out. I get it. But at least we get a shield, right? So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Makago. My opponent does make it to a Weather Ball, so I'm going to go ahead and let this attack go through. And yep, going to be Weather Ball, totally fine. Out comes Lapras. Ooh, I am really weak. Can I make it? I can make it to a Rock Tomb. I have to hope that my Shadow Abomasnow can sweep. So let's see what's in the back. My opponent going to go ahead and throw an attack. I know it's Surf, but I'm going to go ahead and shield this attack anyway. What is in the back? Show me. Oh yeah, we knew the Hippowdon. That's right. So I knew it was the Hippowdon. So that's why I decided to shield, right? Because I'm going to be able to Razor Leaf down the Hippowdon, and then I can finish off the Lapras, and I'm going to be able to take this game. And that's going to be a good game. Very well played to my opponent. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much to all my opponents for the amazing battles, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Bye.